Hi there, today we are going to be going over procedural texts. Now I know you've gone over procedural text in writing, but what do you think that means, procedural text means, in reading? Let me give you a moment to think about this. Alright, procedural text. Go ahead and practice saying that word, procedural text. Excellent. Procedural texts tell how to do or make something. The text or story is usually set up with steps to follow. These steps need to be followed in chronological order. Go ahead and say that word, chronological order. Good. Now, if you don't know what chronological order is, we're going to go over that on the next slide, okay? So just hang on for a minute. So, what are some examples of procedural texts? Well, we have recipes, how-to books, science experiments, and instructions for playing different games. So I have a couple of pictures right here. Well, recipes. Whenever we see a recipe, whether it's for baking or for making a meal, there are steps that the baker or the cook need to follow. Now, do you think if I was making sugar cookies, I could, there's 3 steps here. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there are steps. Do you think if I did step 3 first, and then step 1 first, and then step 2 after that, do you think that would, how do you think my cookies would come out? Do you think they'd come out looking good and tasting good? Maybe not. I need to follow these steps in chronological order. I need to follow them just like the recipe says. Step 1, I need to do step 1 first. Step 2, do that next. Step 3, do that last. Okay? So same thing with pumpkin pie. There's about 6 steps right here. I can't do the steps out of order. I need to follow the order. I need to follow them in chronological order, just like the recipe says. I need to start with step 1, then go to 2, 3, 4, 5, next, and then I do my last step. Okay, you need to follow them in order. How-to books. Now, this is a book that says How to Babysit a Grandpa. This is a fun book. It's meant to entertain you, but there are really books out there that will tell you how to do something. Maybe you want to learn how to make a cake. Okay, so that book is going to teach you the steps in how to make a cake. Maybe you want to learn how to tie your shoes and you're having a hard time. And you get this book and it's like, here are the different steps that you need to take to learn how to tie your shoes. Or maybe you want to learn how to ride a bike and you need those pictures and you need the steps. And you want to look at these steps in this how-to book. Okay, you need to follow these steps in chronological order, right? And then the last, science experiments. I don't have anything right here to show that. But whenever someone's doing a science experiment, there's steps that they need to follow to make sure their science experiment comes out the best it can, right? And the last one, instructions for playing games. Now, I know this is kind of small, but these are the instructions for the game Uno, the little card game. So, what the instructions say is what you need to do, how you need to play, and there are steps, right? So if you follow these correctly, then you'll play the game correctly. If you don't, then we're not going to be playing the game correctly. So you need to follow the steps. Okay, so what I want to do on the next slide is start talking about chronological order, because I kept saying that over and over. But what does that mean? Well, let's go over that. So right here's a little anchor chart that I made, and I went ahead and put in the slide. It says chronological order. Chronological order is when the author lists events or steps in order, right? So think of the different steps in a recipe. You have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, right? So sometimes you're going to need to look for numbers or clue words to understand the order. So it might just be as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you might have to listen for some keywords like first, next, then, last. Or you might hear lastly, finally. Or you might just hear first, second, third, fourth. All right? So remember, text is organized by chronological order to tell the steps or events. They can also explain how to do something or make something. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's little lesson over procedural text. We'll go ahead and review this again this week.